YouTube, welcome to the first episode of the regular season of Ahead of the Game podcast. Road to 100 subs, so don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification button. Let's get right to it. First game, Eagles Cowboys. So now let me get started with what Jalen Carter did to start the game off with a bang. You never spit on anybody. I don't care how disrespectful anybody got to you. You never spit. That's like the lowest thing you can do, in my opinion, is to spit on somebody. Is crazy. And I get what Dak did. He felt disrespected. He spit like towards his feet, kind of like disrespecting them. He felt disrespected, but to spit on somebody, I think is more disrespectful, to be honest. And one thing that I did notice about the Eagles this year, they lack the discipline and they lack the veteran presence that they used to have all those years they were winning. You don't have a Fletcher Cox no more. You don't have a Brandon Graham no more. You don't have a Kelsey no more. You don't have a lot of these guys that they depended on when they drafted these young guys to help them along. Now, if you look on both sides of the ball, they're relatively young. Who's the oldest person on that defense now? Who's the youngest person? Who's the oldest person on the defense? Who's the veteran on the defense now? I'm thinking right now, I don't. You know what I mean? And offensively, they do have some leadership up on the offensive line, but who's the veteran up there? They are lacking the discipline and the leadership of veterans. It's difference between having, Jalen Hurts as a leader and having that veteran 10 plus year leadership. You know what I mean? And I think that's what the Eagles are missing, is that leadership of a veteran. They're relatively young. They got rid of all their veterans, not got rid of, but they didn't sign a Josh Sweat back. You know what I mean? And Kelsey and Graham and Cox, they all retired. So it's kind of like you're depending on these guys to, kind of grow up. And I think that's what they're lacking. You can tell with all the after the play, nonsense. I get it's a rivalry divisional game, but after every play is pushing and shoving, and I just think they lack the leadership. Now on the Cowboys side, I think that's what they wanted. I think they wanted to get in these guys' head. They kind of figured, they are a little bit undermanned in this game, so I think the Cowboys go into it like, we're going to have to get in these guys' head mentally. We're gonna have to get them out the game. We're gonna try to out-physical these guys, but I think the Cowboys did what they planned. Go out there, play hard, play physical, get under their head after every play, do something cheap, see what happens. You know what I mean? And I think that's what they accomplished when not even Jalen Carter didn't play one play. And I don't think Dak went into the game expecting Jalen Carter to react or do something to get him kicked out of the game. Excuse me. Now on to the game. Let's start with the Eagles side. Jalen Hurts' performance was lackluster at best. Let's start there. Let's start with the Eagles offensively, and then we'll go defensively. Jalen Hurts, to have your star wide receiver have one catch throughout the whole game is crazy. He didn't throw the ball downfield at all. I mean, they won the game, but again, how long can he? I mean, you can't say how long because he's proven it in the biggest game in the Super Bowl, but you can't have your guy running 16 routes and not even a target. You know what I mean? And watching the game, he looked that way for 1 second. Oh, he's not open. It's the same thing. And I'm not going to put it on Jalen Hurts because they do have a new offensive coordinator as well. He has to scheme his guys open. Everybody knows. Let's go to the Cowboys. Everybody knows CeeDee Lamb is the guy. He's the star receiver. No matter if they got Mike McCarthy in there, no matter if they got the new coach Sondheim in there, you're scheming to get him open. Line him up in the backfield, motion him out there, line him up in the slot. They're scheming to get him open. And I think that's what the Eagles lacked, was to get anybody open on these route concepts. Again, it's the quarterback's decision making and to get his guys the ball, but coaching plays a big part too. Is if you calling me a slant play, and they're in the zone, I'm going to run right into the guy in the middle of the field. Or if you're calling this play and calling that play, they're not scheming anybody open. So to have AJ Brown, have one catch, I think for like 8 yards is not, they found a way to win, but that's not how you want to start the season off for one of your top guys. And offensively, they got it done. You know what I mean? That's all you can really say. Jalen Hurts, he did have, some moments where he uses his legs to get first downs and uses his legs to keep the ball or keep the chains going. And, Dallas Goedert had a huge game, but offensively, they do look underwhelming. But it is the first game. Excuse me. It is the first game. They did take a blow on the offensive line, losing Landon Dickerson as well. But overall, I don't know what to think of this Eagles team. They just look young and they look undisciplined. And offensively, they look like they're losing that big play spark. You know what I mean? They have the players and the pieces around to do it, but I think Kellen Moore brought out the best in this offense. It's the same exact guys. You know what I mean? They had one play to Dotson, but I think Kellen Moore, he brought out something in this offense that, it's the same thing when they lost Steichen. You know what I mean? It's you lose a coordinator, you got another coordinator, and then you're trying to figure out him, and he's trying to figure. It's a lot. But after game one, the Eagles offensively look underwhelming. Defensively, they look how they looked last year. They're gonna swarm to the ball. They're barely gonna blitz. They're gonna use their front four to get pressure. And in the first half, nobody could stop anybody. In the second half, it was a defensive game, and I think that weather delay, they went into it was an hour delay. They went into the locker room saying, what are they doing? And how can we counter that? And mainly everybody on the Cowboys offensive line is young. So what they did was, let's start stunting them. Let's see if they can handle the stunts on the line and see if they can get off of one block and get onto the stunt, which they didn't. So they started getting a lot more pressure. But the defense looked like they did last year. Usually the defense is a little bit more ahead of the offense, because defense is all about want to. Defense is all about focus. Defense is all about going to the ball, everybody to the ball. So I do believe that the defense is ahead of the offense. So the defense did look a lot better in the second half after the weather delay. So they did look like they did last year. Rush 4, get pressure, everybody play back. Zach Bond had a hell of a game, getting down to Miles Sanders before he got the touchdown. That's just effort. But on to the Cowboys. It is surprising that they were actually in this game, to be honest with you. Let's just put it like this. It's surprising that the Cowboys were in this game, because you lose your best player not even a week ago. You're going into Philly after a Super Bowl run, and you actually look like you wanted to be there. Let's just put it like this. Usually when stuff like this happens, everybody's defeated. You lose your best player, you're on the news. Everybody, seemed like, okay, let's go get it. And I think the defense played very, very well. The offense, I think, is going to have to carry this team, because defensively they had one sack, but defensively they couldn't really stop the Eagles. I mean, they just couldn't. Even with Micah Parsons, I don't think they were going to stop the Eagles. But this team this year, the Cowboys, they're going to have to outscore people. And I think they're going to have to, Dak, if they want to win games, Dak is going to have to play at an MVP level, because they're going to have to outscore teams. You know what I mean? Defensively, they really can't get any pressure. They can stop the run very, very well, actually. That was surprising as well. Jalen Hurts led the team in rushing. But I just think defending the pass is going to be hard, because they can't get that consistent pressure, and that's where Micah comes in. But the Cowboys actually shocked me, and at one moment I was like, when they got the ball back with 3 minutes left, I'm like, oh, they might go down and walk this off, because with 3 minutes, that's not a lot of time. That's a lot of time, but you could walk somebody off in 3 minutes and leave them with 40-30 seconds. You know what I mean? But offensively, the Cowboys, they look good. They can run the ball. CD's going to be CD. Pickens is a big play, a big option for Dak, because if you double CD, you leave Pickens one-on-one. the catches this guy makes is unbelievable. So one-on-one is hard to stop him. But then if you double CD, you're leaving him one-on-one. If you leave CD one-on-one, you see what CD can do. Offensively, offensive line wise, looked good to be so young. They could run the ball effectively with Javonte Williams. And Dak, he looked good. He looked like, come on, let's go. I'm ready to play. Again, defensively, I just think that, you know, they're going to have to get stops in certain spurts or places. So I think they're going to have to stop the run to kind of help them stop the pass as well, to make a team one-dimensional. Because right now they just can't get consistent pass rush. I mean, they got 1 sack last night, but I mean, 1 sack in a 48-minute game or an hour game, however long it was, because of the weather delay, that's not a lot. And you're gonna have to get consistent pressure, because I mean, you're going up against a lot of good quarterbacks in that division now. You got Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, even the Giants. You know what I mean? They're actually might have a good quarterback as well up there. So all in all, my thoughts of the game were the Eagles, they lack the discipline and the veteran leadership. They don't have Fletcher Cox, they don't have Graham, they don't have Kelsey. And I think they lack the veteran leadership. They have leadership, but it's a difference between veteran leadership and just, you know, being the leader of the team. Cowboys, they shockingly, they surprised me. They look very good offensively. Very good, very well ran offensively. Again, when you get rid of Micah Parsons defensively, you're going to lose that consistent pass rush to wreck the game. But all in all, the first game was a weird game. Started off with an ejection, an injury, and a weather delay. So, hey, welcome to the NFL season. This was the first episode of Ahead of the Game podcast, regular season, episode 1. Again, road to 100 subs. Don't forget to like, subscribe, have that notification button on. See you guys on the next one.